This conference will now be recorded.
So this video today, we're going to do a follow-up with James West and his diet. We've done a couple of videos, and they may have seemed a little bit disorganized. They were just conversations. But one of the things that you continue to see as you go through there is that diet, there's hardly anything more critical to our health than diet. And there's hardly anything more challenging to managing in terms of our lifestyle than diet. So James is, again, a very smart guy. He started off as was it a Southern Baptist preacher, James?
No, but that's close enough.
Started off as a pastor, did some missionary work in Russia. Came back, got involved in the finance business and community, turned around and did another turn, ended up founding and running a thriving genetics lab. At this point, James actually got me into the Medicare Advantage world. So somebody with a lot of exposure and a lot of different lives. So James, tell us a little bit about when you decided, look, I've got to lose some weight. And then what sort of things were you looking at in terms of what's going to happen if I don't lose weight? How am I going to lose weight? And how is it going to look different? What was that moment like when you made the change?
Well, probably most of us, the moments every morning we look in the mirror, as you progressively gain weight over the last few years. I actually wasn't overweight until the last few years. 10 years ago, I was healthier than I am now, a little lighter than I am now. So it was in my 40s that I began putting on an extra pound or 2 or 3 a year. But this epiphany came right before our last interview, was during the Thanksgiving week. I ate like everyone else did very heartily around Thanksgiving. I knew I had kind of tipped over several pounds, even beyond my, my belt, normal weight. And I went to Sam's Club to pick up some medications for my wife or kids. So I have a bunch of children, 6 children, the youngest being at the time was only a few months old. And I think I went to the store to Sam's Club, and they had one of those little Igbo chairs. I forget what they're called, that you put your arm in, and you get your blood pressure. So I checked my blood pressure, and it was, I think, 180 over 120, 180 over 115, some number like that. And of course, my first response were, these chairs are broken. And so I did it with the other arm, and it came out very similar. So that was disconcerting. Then I went, got the medicine, and I didn't feel well at all. So I knew my clothes didn't fit. I knew I was feeling poorly. Something was bothering me, just headaches and others. So I stopped at a Walgreens on my way home, and I said, well, I'm going to try their chair, So I went into Walgreens, it was a Kroger. Went into Kroger's, and they had a chair, same result, but there was a nurse sitting out front. They had a little clinic. And so I asked the lady what it was, just to get my blood pressure checked manually. And she said, well, I'll do it right now. Sit down. And sure enough, it was that high. My blood pressure was continuing to be that high. So I picked up the phone and called you, if you recall, and said, is this really something to be concerned about? And you gave me some positive encouragement. We'll just call it that. And so that was kind of the moment where I said, all right, I think I scheduled a call with you the next day or two and said, okay, I got to get serious about this. What do I need to do? And your response was, well, we can certainly put you on medication. You need to be, and a couple of other things. But I think it was you that said, until you lose weight and take control of your lifestyle, I think you told me, salving over a wound that won't heal. So that was it. So that was the Friday after Thanksgiving when I started my diet, and you and I talked about a plan. I wrote that plan out, and so I think it was November 24th or 25th, one day somewhere right there, that I actually started the diet. And today is February 8th.
So that's a good point, and it reminds me that I forgot the punchline. Between how many days was that? 2 months, 2.5.
Pardon me?
How long, what was the time period here? 2.5 months?
Yeah, about 2.5 months.
How much did you lose?
I have lost 25 pounds. Actually, 2 days ago, crossed the 25-pound even weight loss. Fluctuates today. I'm 24.5 weight loss pounds. So, my weight steadily. I started charting it, created an Excel spreadsheet because that's the OCD that I am, and daily weigh myself, put that weight into a graph, and then track it, and then make comments during some weeks.
So you lost 10 pounds a month.
That's about right, about 2.5 pounds a week.
How did you do that?
Two primary things I'll credit for it that we discussed. When I started this, we had a call and discussed what my strategy was that we discussed. So I did start intermittent fasting. So I did adopt that and have stuck with it fairly consistently.
What form of intermittent fasting? How do you define that?
My definition is I go the 16-8. So I 16-8. However, at least once a week, and probably more than once a week, I go 24 hours with only coffee, tea, or water. So at least once a week, and that it's very natural. So I'd like to say I have it on the calendar. This is a fast day. This is not, but it happens more naturally. I'll eat typically a supper, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll eat, and then I'll drink coffee in the morning, not eat breakfast, not eat lunch, and then not eat till 4, 5, 6 o'clock the next evening. So I'll get the 24 hours just easily. I say easily. It was very difficult the first month doing that, and now I'm kind of at the stage where it's almost you got to remind yourself to eat.
So part one was a combination of intermittent fasting, or intermittent, and some people would call prolonged fasting, daily 16-8, and also a prolonged fast of 24 hours or 36 hours once a week.
I've done 48. I've done 48 a couple of times.
Okay. That's very similar to what I've been doing for the past 6 months or so. Now, that's part one. What's part two?
Part two, I changed to a insulin-resistant type diet per conversations you and I have had and other YouTube videos I've watched clinically. And my mother was insulin resistant. She was diabetic, my grandfather. And so I know that's running through my nature. And so I shifted to trying to cut out all sweets as much as possible and go to more of a fat diet and less protein, and try to cut out sweets completely. No bread. So if it's white, except for cauliflower, I don't eat it. So I cut out milk, bread, potatoes, anything starchy, and replaced it. So my breakfast will be, when I eat breakfast, most of the time I don't, but if I were to eat breakfast, it'd be eggs, salmon. So I eat a lot of salmon, a lot of avocados. I eat salads. I eat almond. Yeah, I got almonds, walnuts, pecans for when I need to mix something in and eat. I eat a lot of avocados. Eat a lot of salmon. Eat a lot of fat. I eat red meat. Red meat hasn't seemed to adversely affect me. I know that's controversial for people, but when I do, I'll eat a prime rib or a ribeye. And I don't eat a lot of protein.
So part two is focused on low glycemic, getting those carbs out of your diet. For sure, the simple carbs, but also a lot of the complex carbs as well.
Right. Yeah, I give up fruit. So the difference between, I've multiple times over the last few years tried to go into a few-week diet, and I would find I could lose 5 to 10 pounds fairly easily, which I now know was just my water weight and other things. But then I just couldn't do anything. But I know I look back and go, I was replacing my diet with a high starch diet. By that I meant lots of fruits, lots of vegetables. And so now if I eat vegetables, I'll eat a lot of spinach. And sometimes you just can't avoid some starches. I mean, you're out with someone at a friend's and they put supper on the table, you just can't go, sorry, I'm not going to eat your food. So, I'm not 100% pure always, but fairly consistently I avoid things that are starchy, and that's different than I did in the past. In the past, I would eat a lot more apples, a lot more berries, a lot more tangerines, and so I've cut those simple or complex sugars out almost entirely at this point.
So you're losing what, 2.5 pounds a week, lost 25 pounds in 10 weeks. Good job. Very exciting to hear that. And that made a huge impact on your health. Last question or two. First one is, so what's next? Are you stabilizing here? Are you going to lose some more? What is your plan from here?
It's funny, still have more to lose. 25 was my goal. And you get to 25 and you go, I can still see, I can still see a lot of, I do what you call the jump test, which is very ugly. I mean, it's very ugly. I'm not going to put that on YouTube. But
could I interrupt it? So the jump test I got from reading Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was talking about having body fat content for competition, and he said you strip naked or have some shorts on, and you jump up and down in front of the mirror, and you can see where the body fat is.
Yeah, it's ugly, and so there's still a good ways to go. In my adult life, I have been a little bit lower than this, but so now I'm going to exercise more. There was not a lot of exercise. So there are 2 points I'd make. One is during this process, this was from right after Thanksgiving. So I had to go through family Christmas parties and even through the Super Bowl. And so there were lots of occasions during the holidays for breaking the fast. And there was a couple of examples. You go to my wife's family's grandmother's Christmas dinner. You can't, as a group down south, no one stopped and went, hey, let's make a diet based on, what James needs to do. So you're either going to eat and just be quiet about it. And so there was some Christmas parties in there that I just broke the rules. And because I tracked it daily, I could absolutely see, though, you'll see a couple of little spikes, and I put highlights at Christmas party. And for a couple of days afterwards, you'd pick up a pound or two. And then it would be very difficult. There were some weeks where it wasn't as consistent, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. There were a couple of weeks when I'd break that fast and eat poorly. I'd gain 1 or 2 pounds and just stick there for 6 or 7 days, and usually that's where I'd have one of those 24, 48 hour fast and more activity. And then the next week you'd lose 3 or 4. And so you could recover, but you start recognizing the effort that comes from that choice you make of breaking the diet rules and getting your glycemic index up.
So you met your goal of 25. You did your jump test. You said, you know what? I want to go further. Now, what is your next goal? Is it a certain BMI? Is it a certain weight?
I'm comfortable with the diet. Someone's asked me, well, how do you stick? The diet's fine. I'm embraced and enjoy and know how to navigate a low glycemic diet. I know where I can go grab something to eat when I'm out. I know what to order. So I feel good. I'd stick with the diet. It's just become a lifestyle. Now I need to exercise more. I was telling you, I didn't have a lot of exercising during that time. So now I've started adding more activity, more exercise. I need to build a little bit more lean muscle, I think. And so I'll do that.
So you're bringing up a good point. You met the poundage loss goal that you had originally. Now you're changing the way you make your goals. You're saying goal number 1 is to keep that healthy diet that got me here. I'm not going to change that. Goal number 2 is to now add exercise into the equation. Is that what you're saying?
Pardon me, I took a break there. Yes, okay. Exactly right. I think I can see another 5 to 10, but probably 5 for certain, just by exercise, push-ups, set-ups, more hiking, more activity.
This has been very, very helpful, James. It shows a lot of people how just another spin on how to to get to a healthy weight and stay there. Anything else to add?
No, it's if I'm encouraging people like myself, it's just getting started. It's like any journey. It's a long way. You just got to start at some point. Once I got through the first week, someone asked me this question earlier when I was speaking to them about the headaches they get. They said, I've tried making those changes, but I get those headaches. You do. I did. That first week or two were the more difficult. There was, during that first 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, there were times when I would have chewed my coffee cup to get some to eat. So you do get hungry. I don't have anything to sell. There's no diet fad about this is easy. There's no problem. No, there were times mentally it was challenging that you go in and you see some of the children's food in the cabinet and you go, boy, that'd be tasty right now. Rice Krispie treats. So you just have to have the discipline of not going to do it. So that was challenging, not to fall prey to that. That's, I think, the biggest hurdle is to get through that first week or two lifestyle choice.
Sounds good. Thank you again for the time, James.
Thank you, Dr. Brewer. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.